Hi, everyone. Welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Celebrity Interviews live from the Grotto with Greg Hanna. Greg, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing amazing. And Neil, I'm really excited to talk to our next guest because as we are talking off screen, NFL to Congress, I mean, what are we talking about? This is exciting.
Then for the time we have Steve Largent. Steve, thanks for stopping by. And we're going to also talk about the Super Bowl that I can't believe is coming up very, very soon. And I predict it's going to be the Chiefs. I don't think anyone in the world is going to predict the 49ers because then the story for the NFL would go downhill, wouldn't it, Steve? If it was anything
Yeah,
else.
that's for sure. Yeah.
I don't think only people rooting for the 49ers are in San Francisco, right? Or
Yeah, that's
people that
right.
don't like the Chiefs, like yourself. You're probably rooting for the 49ers, right?
No, I'm actually neutral. I just want to see a good game. I don't want to see a blowout or anything like that. I'd like to see a close game that's won in the last quarter, the fourth quarter.
Now, Steve's an NFL Hall of Famer. And Steve, one of the things I think about is how you destroyed my Steelers, even though the Seahawks weren't that great in the time period that you played. You had some good games against the Steelers, didn't you?
I
Especially
did.
at the Kingdom.
Yeah, at the Kingdom. Yeah, I think we just played one time in Pittsburgh, and I had a good game then too.
But I remember the Kingdom and like how no one could win in the Kingdom. It was one of the hardest places to play, wasn't it? The
It
Kingdom.
really was. I mean, the noise factor was definitely in our favor, and we had a good record in the NFL in the Kingdom.
And all right, so Greg, go ahead with your questions because I know that you're really excited about understanding the transition from NFL to Congress.
Before we jump on that, I love when we talk to professional athletes, that are either in MLB or NFL or, and so on. And like, when did you decide that you wanted to play professional football, and what went through your mind on that? And how did you prepare yourself as a young guy and make that happen?
Well, really what happened was I wasn't prepared to play professional football at all. When I went to college, I wanted to get my degree. That was my goal. And I got my degree in 4 years, a degree in biology. And so it wasn't even an easy degree to get, but I did get it and I got it in 4 years. And I was really proud of myself. And after it really was the end of May when they had the draft at that time. I was watching the draft. I thought I would be drafted. I didn't know when, but then I went in the fourth round to the Oilers, and I thought, hey, I'm going to get a chance to play in the NFL. And really, I had not thought about the NFL. Maybe I did a little bit just before the draft, but not much at all. I was focused on getting my degree out of the University of Tulsa, and I was able to do that. And then the draft came up, and I knew I would be in the draft, but I didn't know where. But I was always holding on to that degree as my savior to get a job. So that I really didn't have a lot of focus on the draft or playing in the NFL until I was actually drafted.
So would you think that a lot of becoming a student athlete, that's a difficult challenge, student athlete. Who ingrained that in you?
I think it was my grandfather. He was the one that encouraged me to go to the University of Tulsa. But he talked about the importance of having your degree and working hard for that. And I didn't work hard in college at all. I ended up graduating with like a 2 point something, and I just knew that I couldn't be successful with that kind of lack of focus. And so I really upped my game when I went to college. But it really was my grandfather who spent a lot of time with me. My folks were divorced when I was 6, and my grandfather was the guy that really encouraged me to play baseball and football, and I did, and he really encouraged me to go to the University of Tulsa. He had lived in Tulsa for some time, and he's the guy that really said, you can get a good degree, get a good job if you'll go to the University of Tulsa. And of course, I did.
Wow. And, while you were playing or while you were, learning the ropes at NFL, you probably had a couple of mentors or some people to help you out a little bit. Like anyone in particular stick out in your mind that really helped you learn the ropes and get
Well,
started?
yeah, actually, Howard Twilley was a receiver for the Dolphins, and he graduated from Tulsa probably 10 years before I did, 66, 67, something like that. And Howard was the guy that I worked out with a little bit before I went to play in the NFL. And he really was a guy that would talk with me and give me various tips and ideas about playing football, about going to college, getting your degree, and things like that. And so I looked up to him. He was an icon at the University of Tulsa, and the fact that he would take the time to spend with me, and we ran routes together and threw passes to one another and all that sort of stuff, and that meant a lot to me.
Now, would you say, Steve, that did you expect to have such a great career?
No,
I mean, like,
I
especially in Hall of Fame, but you like just playing with the Seahawks, especially coming from Tulsa, which is not a huge
no,
football hotbed
but
to be successful like that.
yeah, but you're skipping a whole chapter of my NFL career. I was drafted by the Houston Oilers in the 4th round, and Bum Phillips was in his 2nd year. And Bum called me into his office 6 weeks into training camp, said, "Steve, you're just not going to make our team. We're going to let you go now and give you a chance to play with somebody else." And so Jerry Rome, who was my coach in college, had gone to the NFL and went to the Seahawks. So he had been trying to talk the Seahawks into drafting me before the draft. But then when my name popped up on the waiver wire, he said, "We've got to get this guy." And so the Seahawks ended up trading an 8th round draft choice for me. And I was on my way to Seattle in about 24 hours. And it was, I went from having a really bad experience and just feeling bad about myself and about the effort that I put out with the Oilers to getting another chance. And I just wasn't going to let that chance slip through my fingers at that time.
Well, in preparation for this, I was just Googling around a little bit, looking at some of your stats. I mean, some wild stuff in 14 years or seasons and 13,089 touchdowns. Is that possible, or do they have that backwards? I think that's got to be yards run, right?
No, yeah, yards.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah.
I wish it was that many touchdowns.
Yeah,
It would have
right.
been
I'm
a lot
about to say
better.
that's
Yeah.
incredible. So more like a couple hundred touchdowns, probably.
I caught 100 touchdowns. I was the first one to break the 99 touchdown mark. So I had 100.
Amazing. That's so great.
Wow. And I think that, like, let's talk about the accolades. NFL Man of the Year 1988, first team All Pro 1985, 4-time second team All Pro, 7-time Pro Bowl, 2-time NFL receiving yards leader. So that doesn't happen a lot, Steve, where someone gets that opportunity to do that. All 1980s All Decades team, NFL 100th anniversary All Team, Seattle Seahawks Ring of Honor. Your number was retired, Bart Starr Award, all these different honors, and then getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. How did that feel, Steve, to get inducted in the NFL Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I would say not bad for a slow white guy.
Yeah.
No, it was. I mean, it was magical. Really, that's the best way I could describe it. I stepped onto the field for the Seahawks my first year, and things really fell into place. Having Jerry Rome as the offensive, not the coordinator, but he was definitely the guy that put the passing game together. He installed our entire passing game from the University of Tulsa into the Seahawks game plan. And so I stepped on the field, knew exactly what to do, when to break, when the ball should be there. And things just happened magically, like I said, in that first year that I was playing with the Seahawks. And of course, I teamed up with Jim Zorn, who became the starting quarterback for the Seahawks, and we had a great career together. And it was just so much fun.
What are like the two most memorable, plays or games that you think about often, even now?
Well, I've been asked that a lot, but I can tell you that my number one memory is not a catch, but a tackle. And that was on Mike Harden after he had knocked me out in a game in Denver with a cheap shot. He was fined $5,000 and all that stuff. But I got him back in a tackle after he had intercepted a ball in the Kingdom, and that was my favorite play.
That's great.
And what do you think as a team, the Seahawks? Where does the farthest you guys went when you played for them?
We got to the the AFC finals. We played the Raiders, who we'd beaten twice in the regular season. They were in our division, and we beat we played the Raiders in LA, and Marcus Allen just went off on us, and it was a close game, but there was no doubt that the Raiders deserved the win.
Yeah.
Wow. So, when you retired, what, like 1990 or so, 89 in that range.
Yep.
Yep. And then you were in Congress, what, 2000, 2001?
No, I didn't go until 2004.
Oh, 2004. Okay, great. Yeah. So what did you do in between retirement and Congress, and how did you, take that path to go to Congress? What got inspired you? Yeah.
A great question. I started off just doing some speaking and appearance work around the country. And it was really my wife that was just following politics a lot. And she got me to following politics. And she said, I think what you really need to do, you need to run for office. And I said, what? You think what? And so anyway, I said, okay. I said, let me think about it. Let me pray about it a little bit. And so I did. And I just thought, I told her, I said, I'm going to run. I'm going to put, X amount of dollars in my campaign behind me. There were about 5 other candidates that were running for this particular, maybe there's 7 other people that were running for office. I said, I'm going to run. And if I don't win, I said, I don't want to ever hear about this again. And so she said, okay, done. And so I had 4 kids in school and everything else. And so I'm there running for Congress. And lo and behold, I actually won the race and then won the general election, and was in Congress in 1995, actually 1994, because I was replacing somebody who had left the seat early. And in all fairness to my wife, I really enjoyed my time in Congress. There were so many things I learned about Congress and about the history and about the legislation that was coming before us, and it was a fascinating experience.
How did your life after Congress teach you? What did it teach you in that process, from learning so much in the political game to the game of life after?
Well, it was not a smooth exit from Congress. I had actually, in my 4th term in Congress, eighth year, had decided to run for governor. And in running for governor, I was, of course, I was the guy for the Republicans in that particular year, and I ended up losing that race by 5,000 votes, which is not a lot of votes, even in Oklahoma. I always said if I ever lost a race, I was never going to stay in politics. I was going to do something else. And so I stayed true to that, and ended up getting a job with the trade association for the wireless industry. So AT&T and Verizon and all those guys, T-Mobile, all those guys were in that trade association. And I was the leader of that trade association at a time when the wireless was just going crazy. And it was really a fun job.
Wow. So any predictions in your crystal ball who's going to be our next president in 2024?
No, I don't have any predictions for that. It could go any direction. I tell you, it's been disappointing watching our current president. I don't think that he was really in any physical shape to do what he's doing, and yet he did, and he won, and we're suffering the consequences. But I'm really I don't know who's going to win. I don't have any idea, but I think it will be a battle for sure.
All right, let's talk about Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. It's great to be part of that, right? Tell us about that, and again about Pork Rind Appreciation Day. It's coming up very, very soon as well for the Super Bowl. So tell us about that.
Well, Mike Ditka started the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund, and he did it because there were so many players that played when he played just after he played, and that were really hurting, just for, physical things that were going on with their bodies from playing football. And so he started this fund to help these guys, and to get them some help from doctors, from hospitals, and so on. And so I joined forces with Mike, I don't know, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. And so the pork rind industry has gotten on board with Mike, and they're making a generous donation for the effort, and for these players that really need help. So I'm helping Mike as well.
Excellent. And and again, the Super Bowl is the day, right? For the appreciation, right?
That's right. Yeah. Pork Rind Appreciation Day is on Super Bowl Sunday. And I think the game will be great. And I know pork rinds are great.
Before I get to the last question, Greg, I want to ask him, what is life after Congress, after the Business and the Trade Association?
There we go.
Are you retired? Or are you still working or still doing stuff?
I do a few things on the side, speaking and appearance work and stuff like that, but I'm really retired. But I still do some things with my kids, not my kids, my grandkids, whether they play tennis or basketball or football, whatever. I still go and watch them play, and enjoy that. But I'm basically retired.
Okay. Until you run for office again.
No, I am not running for anything.
Running away from.
All right. So
Yeah,
Greg has
right.
his question that he asks all our celebrity guests. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Greg.
Steve, I'm really excited to ask you this question. I ask everyone that we have the opportunity and privilege to interview. This is fantastic, and thank you so much for your time. But, Steve, tell me, what do you feel is the most important thing in life that you've ever learned?
Well, when I was a sophomore in high school, I went to an organization called Young Life. And it was really through Young Life, and the leader that was at Young Life, a guy named Scott Manley, who's passed away now. But Scott talked about Jesus, and I really found myself attracted to the message of Jesus, the love of Jesus. And that's really that relationship with Scott and with Young Life has changed my life in a dramatic way over a long period of time.
And it's having that purpose, Steve, right? No doubt. Once you have that purpose, you're able to utilize that throughout your life.
Absolutely. The rest of my life.
Great. Fantastic. All right. So Steve, just Wikipedia you, right? Wiki you. There's no other way to contact you. Are you on social media as well, Steve? Anywhere?
I look at it, but I don't ever respond to it. You would think a guy that was the head of the Wireless Association would be more adept at using his wireless device, but I'm really not. I have to go ask my wife how I do it. But no, I don't. I'm not real big on social media. I read some things every now and then, but I'm at kids football and basketball and soccer and lacrosse games.
All right. Well, fantastic. Thanks again, Steve. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Steve. Great.
All right. That was a special
You bet.
simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and celebrity interviews live from the Grotto with Greg Hanna. Guys, take care.